Hi everyone, my name is Antonia, and one of the first things that I went looking for when I started playing Stranded Alien Dawn is what seeds were available to crash land at. And while I did find some lists online, they didn't have a lot of visual references to go with them. So I decided that I would go ahead and put together this video and share it with all of you. Let's see what we get. Roll out and take a step back to look around at our crash site. First thing I'm noticing about Breath Pass is that it's got a wide open clearing here in the middle with some very level ground, so that should make building a lot easier. We do have a lot of resources nearby. We've got stone, we've got plants, we have plenty of bushes and trees. So yeah, this seems to be a really good spot. Let's go ahead and take a quick look around to see where the nearest nest is. Sometimes you land right by them. Oh, we have ourselves a little gorge here. That's interesting. And of course, these beautiful rock formations behind which there is those nests that I was talking about. So that seems to be the nearest nest, which, gotta be honest, it's actually kind of far away, which was really nice. We have some distance between us at the crash site and the first nest, all the way over here behind the fancy rock formation. Alright, this one is called Sock News, and it's already interesting. I am immediately aesthetically pleased by this little circle of trees here that we've landed in. We've got this cute little alcove. Granted, if you're farming or mining these resources, cutting these trees down, that charm is going to disappear very quickly. Good starting point. I think it has just such an ample abundance of resources, and you can also head in this direction too. So if we head in this direction, we're gonna get a more like scenic mountain backdrop. It's very pretty, and it's really your choice if you want to go up or down through this mountain pass to do your settling and building and surviving. I haven't seen this one yet, but the name of the seed is too good to ignore. So let's go ahead and find out what Fun Self has in store for us. All right, so Fun Self. We have ourselves lots of trees. I don't know what we would see if we had selected the desert version of this seed, but as far as this version goes, it seems to be just chock full of wood. You're gonna get to do a lot of building with wood. I mean, just looking at this right now on screen, I'm already kind of falling in love with it. It is quite charming because I am seeing a lot of really smooth grassy plains, but they are interrupted by just enough hills that I know, one, I have lots of mining resources, and two, it provides variation and points of interest when looking at it from, a wider angle like this, when I have my screen fully zoomed out. And of course, this goes without saying, I'm already seeing all of the major resources immediately available, which is really great. I don't have words for this, but just look at how pretty it is. And I would build here. I would certainly build here. Guitar meat? What kind of a seed is guitar meat? Okay, if this does not come with an excessive number of herds, I'm going to be disappointed because I'm taking this extremely literal. This is what we have at Guitar Meat. We have ourselves grain cobs immediately close by. Like, it's the first resource we have like readily available at our crash site. We also have some extra scrap here and here. We have 2 little ponds. I think we have, we have some bushberries right here. We also have ourselves some blade grass here, which I believe is the hay. And ever so important, we have our melons just past the bushberries, where we are also getting some skin bark as well. I'm seeing like a ton of wild grain cob here, which is really, really nice, because then you don't have to like get a few stalks and then start farming and then like starve for a whole season while you're waiting for them to grow. Lots of grain cob. I'm still finding more. So there's so much grain cob at this seed. As I was expecting, I'm not disappointed. I am seeing lots of herds, so that's good. They go where the food is. So here we have lots of berries, we have lots of squash, we even have some of those glowing mushrooms. There's abundance here. Certainly there is an abundance. I don't think it would be terribly hard to survive here, is what I'm saying. They did just implement a new peace mode, right? They have a new peace mode where you can just sort of build and make like a really aesthetically pleasing settlement without having to worry about getting attacked all the time. This might be the seed to build that in, because you do have so much abundance and you also have so much space. It's not like being on one of those narrow plateaus. So if I decide later on down the road that I'm really tired of fending off enemies and I just want to play through on peace mode, this might be the seed I come back to. This is one of those seeds that is really terrific for those of us who like to settle next to water. I know that water hasn't played a significant role in survival, at least not in the current phase of development that this game is in, but it's really beautiful. It's super picturesque, and it's a little bit comforting, even though I know that it's not necessary. It's comforting to me and my personal sense of survival to be settled next to some water. So here in this seed, we have this gorgeous lake right here. Some mist coming right over it. It's really beautiful. We've got ourselves a lot of resources nearby. We've got rocks, we've got plenty of trees. I mean, just look at this little pine forest we have going on up here in the corner. Turn around, we have our fruits, we have our sweets, and we have plenty of bushes. We've got our natural fabrics here and some grain. And we have lots of these birds as well, if you're more into the hunting side of this game. After 161 hours, I should know what the names of every single one of these are, and I do, but I'm afraid to pronounce them incorrectly, so that's why I'm not actually saying it out loud. All right, and so looking up here, we just have ourselves a beautiful mountainous landscape as a backdrop, and of course, that epic shot of the moon coming up over the horizon. So that's the seed. LLL. Okay, so now we're gonna try one called Row Crazy, and I think this one's a little bit easy to remember because it's in the name Row. So this is another one of those scenic water landscapes. So this might be one of my favorite seeds, and I just really love that we're getting this nice sort of flat landscape here to work with, so building is going to be a lot easier. We're getting a lot of resources. I mean, just an abundance of trees. We've got ourselves our rocks, we've got our ores, and we've got our lakeside view. I mean, this is prime real estate. Have one side of your settlement facing a body of water this large, because I haven't yet seen any enemies or any kind of hostiles come over a body of water this wide, so at least on one side you're kind of covered. So again, we have ourselves some nice ores. We've got ourselves some grain cob right off the bat, which is great. You can observe and start farming that immediately. We have plenty of hay. We've got skin bark here. We've got our silicone plants and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of scrap that we can scavenge. We do have this gorgeous rock formation up here that's going to provide us with a lot of mining resources as well. We have herds, which is just so helpful if you're like really in a pinch for food. You can start hunting. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this seed. This is definitely like my current favorite. That was really close. All right, so wow, that is pretty. This mountainous view looking right up to the moon, which is gorgeous. Landing right next to this rock formation, there's already a really like epic point of interest just looking here at these. We also have some resources in here that are really close to the crash site. Oh, I mean, it doesn't get better than that. We have food like 10 feet away from where we crashed. That's amazing. I'm not seeing any water, but that's okay. Oh, I'm absolutely wrong about that. So I am seeing a gorgeous lake just over this hill. Yeah, this is gorgeous. So I've never used this seed before. I let it just randomly pull it up, and we're discovering this set kind of together, and I gotta say I am amazed. I'm such a sucker for water, and this is just really gorgeous. I know that if I were to use this seed, I'm gonna be losing a lot of time on the front end migrating my characters down here to the coast, and that can be so frustrating when they're not doing the research you need them to be doing. They're not building the defenses you need them to be building because they're spending half of their day walking to and from one spot to the other. And yeah, I mean, it's a really tough takeoff when you're trying to settle somewhere a fair distance from your crash zone. But I mean, if you pull it off, this view might just be worth it. I am running into an issue here. Like, you see how I'm trying to move forward, but I'm not gaining any ground. That means that this area is inaccessible. We can't build in that direction, just like I can't grab these resources, can't click on them, I can't select them. So you do run into an issue where sometimes you're trying to migrate to a scenic spot like this, only to realize that you can't build there because it is out of bounds. So that is one thing to be wary of. I am running into the edges of the map here, just in my exploration as the player. So I know that my characters are going to run into some boundaries here as well. If I head this direction on this side of the lake, I'm sure I have lots of space to build. So I'm not losing this lake entirely. I mean, it's still, like, this is still a usable landscape. Okay, so this next one I'm going to show you is called Bus Tack Bing. It's another one that has a lot of water nearby, and it just looks really majestic. Okay, again, backing out just so that we can take a look around. Now we do have this tiny pond right next to our crash site, right when we first land. Just cute for like when you want to first set up your survival camp. You can stay right here next to all the resources that you're scavenging. But if you turn around and just look this way through the mist, you're gonna see this gorgeous lake right here. And really, it's just so beautiful to settle next to here, to build your more permanent settlement right here next to this body of water. Once again, the resources are plentiful. And of course, now that they have come out with the December 1 update, we can look at the same seed in a more desert-like landscape. So if we want to see what that looks like when we transform the landscape, we can go to New Game, Bus Being again, confirm, but then instead of the region being the Sobrius region, we can go to New Desertum region and see how that affects this seed materials. So this is the same landscape. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm not seeing that little pond here, but it makes sense that we wouldn't. Turning around though, directly behind us, we should see our lake. And look what our lake has been reduced to. This tiny oasis. But if you are looking for a body of water and you want to maybe build your town around a little oasis, you totally could. I could see that being really picturesque. Just going to the bus being setting and then making this like watering hole the center of your town, even though it doesn't serve a practical use, you know, in your mind, in your mind canon. It would make sense in here. But I'm not really seeing the lake at all. What I am seeing, and I think this is so cool, is all these trees down here in this I guess like this little canyon that would provide shade and allow for trees like this to grow, which is so neat that it's so responsive in that way. This is basically what you're getting if you're using this seed in the desert. Okay, so for letter agency, the first thing that I'm noticing and that's standing out to me are these very round rocks. See them all highlighted, these smaller chunks of rock. We'll be able to mine these, but I think that you're going to be able to keep this visually interesting, like large round rocks. They look like worry stones, you know? I think that's going to stay even if you mine this whole area out. It's different than a lot of the other seeds, so that's something that makes this one stand out from the others. We head right uphill from these worry stones. I'm seeing a nice flat plateau with a body of water, and let's see if, like all the others, are we hiding a nest back here? And no nest. Would you look at that? No nest on the plateau behind the cute little pond. And plenty of resources to farm. So I like this one. I might play this one personally after I'm done making this video. There we go. That's the shot. It's simple, but it's elegant and it's beautiful and I love it. I really just crashed into our vegetable patch. We really just lost all the vegetables that were just there. The first thing I'm seeing with this seed is that, well, I mean, the first thing I saw was that these extra falling debris fell right on the vegetables that were so conveniently situated next to our crash zone. The second thing that I'm noticing is that we have these hostiles right up the hill, like so close by that like you can't miss them. So that's a little concerning, but let's see what's in the other direction, because my first thought would be to build camp maybe over here, like where it's a short enough walk from the crash zone in the opposite direction of those hostiles and that nest that I'd feel a little bit more comfortable building here. A little distance between us and them, you know? My heart. I'm seeing water. Okay, so there's another lake here as well. So we have this beautiful lake. It's a nice view. We're not right on the water, but we're still getting that scenic backdrop from it. All right, so here is Excuse Teach. You are sort of at a higher elevation for this one, so if that's something that you prefer, if your priority is to be at a higher elevation to have the better vantage point, I know that it can be a little unsettling to be at the bottom of one of these hills and have hostile creatures coming down over the wall at you. It's very unsettling. So if your preference is to settle at a higher elevation, this one crash lands you on one. So maybe don't go too close to the water, at least not until you're ready to clear out that nest. There's another one immediately down the hill on this side, so I don't know what's worse, them coming down over the hill at you or them coming up the hill toward you. It is a very narrow building sort of platform. What I've got highlighted is kind of your space. If you're trying to build up here, you've got kind of this much room, which isn't huge, but also a lot of settlements, maybe you don't want to build too large because it takes time to build large. It also takes a lot of resources to build large. So it really just depends on if you're like a tiny home kind of person, or if you want something a little bit more grand and scaled, and maybe you're like really into the farming part of the game. If that's the case, this might be terrible because there's very little room. Things to consider. Definitely some things to consider here. Alright, I think that's all of the debris. Let's take a look around. Over this edge, we've definitely got a very steep decline down to this lower area. I mean, there does seem to be a less steep decline here where you could come through the woods to maybe gather other materials down here. Just, be careful because we've got two nests right here, like cohabitating. And up here we have ourselves some sweets and some rocks. I don't think mining... Oh, I take that back. A lot of rocks. There's plenty of mining. So yeah, I mean, you've got... Oh, you may not have an abundance of vegetables, but you have an abundance of building materials. If you ever wanted to live in the Rocky Mountains, this is the seed for you. First thing I'm noticing about this seed is that we have these gorgeous snowy mountains directly behind us. That is just really pretty. I haven't seen a lot of that so far. We've had a lot of, hilly mountains that look like this, but not nearly as many snow-covered mountains. So I'm just finding this is very beautiful. Also, I don't know if you can summon it, can you? I mean, my camera can. My bet would be that they're gonna go all the way around the mountains. You're gonna have ample time if they decide to attack your settlement to prepare for that. No. That said, hiding right here, I almost didn't see them, is a nest, just a short walk, I would say, short walk from your crash zone. There is a nest hiding in the trees. Don't want to build your back right up to this snowy mountain unless you're willing to clean out that nest first. This is a very pretty seed because you are getting some snowy mountains, and I can appreciate that. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out BitFinal. Okay, just taking a 360 walk around, I'm seeing that we are completely enclosed by high mountain walls. I'm not seeing any water immediately nearby. I am seeing a nest. We do have a ton of bushberries here. So there's plenty for harvesting without having to farm. I'm thinking there's another nest right there. It is. There's two. There's two extra nests right here. So, oh my goodness, there's a fourth nest. But yeah, I mean, if you want to play a challenging game, this might be the seed for you. This is immediately challenging just based on where you've landed. I'm gonna have to stop recording so I can jump right into editing and get this content out to you. If you like this video, please do remember to like this video. And if you are interested in this game, subscribe. And I will see you next time. All right, that's it. Bye.